Welcome to the Burning Chair podcast with Simon Finney and Peter Oxley.
Right, so welcome to the Burning Chair podcast, and a very special one with an interview with Georgia Springate, our latest author. Welcome, Georgia.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming along. That's great. So, Georgia, we'd like to just ask you a few questions, especially around your new book, Beyond, which comes out 1st of March.
So exciting, not long now.
Not long at all. So, I guess it'd be great just to get you to, explain what it's all about and just give us a bit of a rundown of what it is.
Yeah, so Beyond follows Alex, a teenage boy, just trying to live his life, and all of a sudden his world is shattered when his sister gets diagnosed with cancer. And all along he's trying to come to terms with it, and his mind just keeps focusing on this question: where is she going to go when she dies? What's going to happen to her? So he and his friends decide that they are going to find out. Basically, they visit churches and doctors, and they're on this massive quest to find out what is going to happen to Jenna, his sister, and everyone really when they leave this earth. And obviously alongside that, it's a coming of age tale. He's a teenage boy, so he likes a girl, and there's a school bully, and there's all those sorts of young adult elements in there as well. So a lot going on.
Yeah, and it's fair to say, I mean, obviously I've worked on it with you. It's a real blend of, it makes you laugh, it makes you cry. It's a blend of all kinds of emotions, I guess.
Oh yeah, be ready for a roller coaster.
Absolutely. No, superb. So where did the inspiration for Beyond kind of come from?
So I guess it comes from how everyone feels at some point in their life. The biggest question ever, isn't it? Where are you going to go? What's going to happen to you? And I thought, instead of freaking out about this, maybe I will write about it. So off I went, really.
And that was the kind of inspiration for the whole thing?
That was definitely, the inspiration of sort of the root of it. And Alex just sort of came to me as a character, and I sort of shaped the rest of the story around him, really.
Yeah. And it's kind of in the story, because Alex goes on this journey, doesn't he, from not really knowing anything about it, being quite scared, to no spoilers, but he goes on this journey of realization as he goes through. Is that your thinking through as you went through that process?
Definitely, yeah, definitely. I think it's something that you're not going to be most people aren't going to be 100% happy with and comfortable with and excited about, all the time. But definitely, I think I myself am a lot more calm about it now, and I think hopefully it will help others feel the same way, especially if they've got someone or they personally are going through something where that is gonna happen.
And was he always in your mind a kind of teenage boy going through this whole journey? Did you have a teenage girl, or
No, I don't even know what it was. I guess you two know, when a character comes to you, they come to you sometimes just as they are. Bam, this is me. You can write about me now. And there he was, just this slightly floppy haired teenage boy, a bit moody.
I think the thing that you and I both noted, especially at certain key points in the book, I mean, all the way through, but there's certain bits where we both went, that's exactly what it was like to be a teenager in that situation.
Absolutely.
And that was quite interesting, because am I right in thinking, Georgia, you don't have any brothers, do you? Or
No, I don't have any brothers. I have 4 sisters, 2 of which are teenagers, so I've got no shortage of strops and moods to take inspiration from there. But no boys, interestingly. So yeah, it was definitely fun to write from that perspective.
So how did you get that? Sorry, Simon.
Sorry, no, go for it.
I was going to say, how did you get into that mindset then? Because you did capture it really well. What did you do to get there?
I'm quite into young adult as a genre anyway, sort of watch a lot of films, read a lot of books, so I sort of picked up on a lot from those protagonists there. And like I said, also the whole teenage concept, you can really alter to a girl and a boy. They're both going through a roller coaster of emotions. They're both going to be annoying and weird and very up and down. And I think that's just basically the principles that I applied to Alex. But also, very funny, very endearing, just trying to struggle through life as we all were at that age.
Still are.
Yeah. It doesn't get better.
You mentioned reading other books. I mean, did you draw the inspiration from any particular, I don't know, Percy Jackson or Harry Potter, or was there any, or was it just a real blend of everything that you'd read?
Yeah, it's just a massive blend. Like there's aspects of his personality that I picked out from Perks of Being a Wallflower, and there's aspects from The Fault in Our Stars, and all sorts of just random teenage dramas that you get on Netflix that I can't remember the name of and sort of wish I never watched. You know the ones. Just sort of they all blend together, don't they? And like I say, I sort of had the basis of his character to start with anyway. And yeah, whether that subconsciously came from, a couple of nitty things I picked up from here and there. But yeah, it just all came together and shaped the unique Alex, protagonist of the story.
Yeah. That's brilliant. And did you plot the whole thing out before you started? Or did you just crack on and see where it took you? Or?
Yeah, I did not plan really at all. I did sort of the first half of the book, and then I thought, right, well, I need to decide the ending from here on out effectively, because that does sort of shape a lot of what happens. So that was sort of the main point that I did. I knew how it was going to end. But interestingly, we did quite a lot of editing on the end. So it still, effectively has the same event, but in a very different way, I think now. So it's quite interesting to think, obviously, I just went ahead and cracked on and wrote it. And then when you actually look back with a fresh pair of eyes and with another pair of eyes, what other people's thoughts are and how you can tweak it just to make it so much better and flow so much nicer. Yeah. So I wrote the first draft, but I think we all chimed in for the real one.
you I mean, obviously this is a really unfair question, but how did you find the editing process? I mean, obviously I was great and Pete was an absolute
well, that obviously goes without saying.
It goes without saying, right? But how did you find the process? Because it is hard. You put yourself into your writing, and for someone else to come along and then say, actually, do you want to change this bit and change that bit? That's not easy for anyone,
I know, yeah. I think it was kind of all happened at a good time though, because I'd sort of finished my first draft. I took a step back from it, and then I submitted it to a couple of places, and then sort of by the time we'd had a chat and got talking, and then finally the edits came over, it had been sort of a good, probably at least a month before I'd looked at it. So it was sort of me coming back as well. And I remember saying to Pete a couple of the grammatical errors he picked up on, or like duplications of words, just stupid things that when it's your work and you're scanning over, you don't see. Yeah. So it is interesting. And if anything, a little bit like, oh God, what was I doing? But but you're glad that it's been picked out, because could you imagine a book with all the ramblings that I had in it? No, I could not. I do not think. How do I do well? But you're just in the zone, aren't you, when you're writing? So.
Absolutely. Well, so who's your favourite character in the book then? Do you have a particular favourite apart from Alex himself?
Oh God, that's so hard.
It is hard, isn't it? Well, Pete, hang on, hold that thought for a second. Then, Pete, who's your favourite character?
I'd probably go with Jenna, to be honest with you, just because she's kind of I know it's all about her, but actually she's not the main character, if you know. But she's so sympathetic, and there's so much about her. And actually, she's the one trying to cheer Alex up a lot of the time, even though what she's going through as the sister who all this bad stuff is happening to. So,
I think she's very selfless, isn't she?
Yeah, definitely. It comes across, but in a real way, she comes across as a three-dimensional person rather than just a thing that stuff happens to. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's it.
Go on, Simon. How about you then?
So who's your favourite?
Well, who's your favourite, Simon?
Ooh,
yeah, go on.
It's a good one. It's probably, Daisy. I really like the character of Daisy, but I also really like some of the minor characters, such as Alex's father, such as Jenna's boyfriend. So just some of the other kind of smaller characters that really still have depth for me. So I like those as well. But Alex is such a great main character.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I do like Alex. I know I can't say Alex, but I do like Alex.
Fair enough.
I like them all. I guess they're all like my little babies in a way, and I love aspects of them, and then other aspects I think if you were a person in real life, I'd get really annoyed with you quite a lot. But that's what makes them so relatable and real, isn't it? So
yeah, it is. That's absolutely right. And look, writing this, you must have had to think loads about what is beyond this kind of life.
yeah.
You know, we've talked about this before, but you know, what do you think is beyond?
Oh God, yeah. Well, you know, even writing this, I haven't come up with any sort of conclusions, and I guess I'd like to think somewhere nice where you can just watch over things and be at peace, you know, just chilling like a star, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd like to, I think happy thoughts now, positive thoughts, not scary thoughts. And I think that's a big improvement for what it was before. So I'm happy with that so far.
Right.
That's brilliant. And then, so, I mean, it seems unfair in some ways to pigeonhole any book. You know, to say this is a young adult book, I think is a little bit unfair. In the same way that Harry Potter's not a children's book. You know, it's just a great book. You know, series of books. So, but given that, what other young adult coming of age kind of novels do you look up to and say, I really love that? You know.
Well, I like anything by John Green, Looking for Alaska, The Fault in Our Stars, all that sorts of things. Like you said, I sort of enjoy crossovers and things that shouldn't really have a young adult label, you know, like Harry Potter and Percy Jackson, and just good books that are gonna inspire a lot of people and happen to have, you know, younger characters in them.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, funny story. I read the Book Thief, not knowing anything about it, by Marcus, and I'm going to get it wrong, Zuzak. No, I'm sure that's not. I'm a huge apology to anyone who knows it. But I read it, and
taking no responsibility for that.
No responsibility. And I loved it. I thought it was an absolute brilliant. And then I saw it in Waterstones, and it was in the young adult section, and even had, you know, best young adult book of the. I thought, was that a young adult book? You know, it was just, for me, it was just a really good book, and then it just so happened that they'd been kind of put into that, you know, which I thought was quite surprising. What about you, Pete?
What about me? What?
Books in that kind of genre that you. So, I mean, Pete.
Yeah, it's been a long day. Yes.
Put the beard down, Pete. Put the beard down.
It's actually not alcoholic. It's
oh, right, of course.
No, I guess from my point of view, well, one that I loved when I was growing up, and I'm still kind of like, I actually dipped back into it fairly recently, is anything by John Christopher, who, you know, this is kind of really going back, but the Tripods and all those kind of things, and there's the Prince in Waiting trilogy he wrote. So this is kind of like dystopian sci-fi, because that's kind of how I roll, sort of thing. But yeah, those things actually, and you know, a good book is a good book. It doesn't really matter, you know. Yes, publishers and bookstores need to pigeonhole them because that's how you get people to look at them. But actually, you know, like this, like Beyond, it's, I mean, one of our beta readers was I don't know exactly how old he is, but he's certainly not a young adult sort of person. And he absolutely loved it. And he's also read a few of my books, which are nothing like Beyond. And he was saying, you know, it just resonated so closely with him in terms of what he went through with his grandfather and all those emotions. And so I don't think this is a young adult, you know, it works for young adults, but it also works across multiple things, really.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So, Georgia, obviously, loads of people are going to read this, and your family and friends are going to read it as well. Who outside of your family and friends would you most like to pick up a copy, read this, and enjoy it? Any particular person that you'd...
I don't want to pick a particular person, but anyone who would benefit from reading the book emotionally, and would give them some sort of, you know, affirmation or strength or hope, I would love to read the book.
Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there. Thank you. And then, so look, final question from me. So what's next? What's beyond? I can't believe.
God, beyond squared. Well, I am sort of in the midst of thinking of another idea, sort of doing a very rough sort of draft. I'm in my final uni year, so anything that isn't an essay takes up about 1% of my time. But I will get there. Very different genre, very different idea, but we will see where it goes.
Okay. Wow. Well, look, Georgia, it's been absolutely fantastic to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time.
You too. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Good luck with Beyond. Good luck to all
Thank
of us with Beyond. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. I have no doubt whatsoever. So thank you.
Thank you.
You've been watching the Burning Chair podcast with Simon Finney and Peter Oxley. To find out more, visit us at www.burningchairpublishing.com.